You see these cute little llamas? Yeah, you can take them in and give them a home on your raft. And what about the shark? Well, no, it's not scary. That's Bruce, and he's the kindest guy you'll ever meet. But no, seriously, there is a lot to Raft, and today I'm going to try my best to convince you why now is the best time to embark on your Raft adventure. I mean, first off, let's start with Immersion, the biggest tool in the gaming industry used to properly encapsulate the player inside of the game's world and make them connect to what's happening in front of them on their screen. And trust me, when I say Raft has this nailed down, from storms, high waves, realistic looking animals, a beautiful art style, and in my opinion, the best thing, the audio. I mean, the sound of those bees. But seriously, this game can be really cozy, as long as you stay out of the water, of course. I promise you that when you're putting down your anchor and setting foot on your first storyline island, it will feel like you're a tiny grain of rice in this massive flooded landscape that we like to call Raft. Now, I'm sure you guys always crave specific features when looking for a game to play. For example, does the game have exploration, multiplayer? I mean, what about combat? Well, let's talk about combat. It's similar to the likes of early game Rust, if you've ever played that game, as in the game is pretty primitive, meaning the combat is as well. Want a rifle in your hands? Well, not in this game. The best weapon you can get is a machete, which is great, but oftentimes you'll need a bow to take out the bigger animals like the bears. And that bow isn't actually very special either. Not a combat bow, not a crossbow, just a simple wooden bow which doesn't do much damage if we're being honest. And although I do like this, I'm sure that Chapter 3 will actually bring a lot of changes to combat, whether that's through new items or changes in current mechanics. And one last thing, yes, you can stab your friends with a spear, but that's about as far as it goes. I found pushing them into the shark-infested water works a little better. Now, what else would you say makes a game worth buying? Well, for me, it's the development team behind said game. How much promise does the future hold for this project, or is it just a lost hope? Since without active development or new improvements, most games fail. Also, while you're deciding whether Raft is worth your time, what about deciding whether the subscribe button is worth your 5 seconds? You know, it's completely free to just scroll down and click that red button, as we're currently on the road to 4K subs. All your guys' support is much appreciated. While some may argue that Raft's developers, Red Beat Interactive, aren't progressing the game, it's simply not true, and if you're in the Raft community, you'll know this. Raft has received numerous updates over the last 4 years, all of which were highly polished, filled with features, and really well received. Red Beat Interactive care about Raft, and there is no question about it. But the problem, or more so the way in which Raft updates are produced and released to the public, means some people play the update, finish the new storyline chapter, and then quit again, meaning the player base often spikes and depletes whenever big updates drop. But hopefully this won't carry on, because not only is Chapter 3 of the Raft storyline right around the corner, meaning the player base will likely spike higher than ever before, the developers also recently stated that they're thinking of transitioning to a more popular publishing method of pushing out new content every month or so, which for me as a content creator would be a dream come true. Whether they continue the story in a different fashion is up to them, and since nothing yet is set in stone, I'm excited to see what path they go down in the future. Now, thanks to Raft's building mechanics, you can completely transform the ocean and bring your imagination to life. Does that sound like your type of thing? Because I know a lot of people look for games where you can bring out your personality through in-game mechanics like construction, and Raft is perfect for that. I myself have made a huge raft that took me months, but I'm pretty proud of how it's turned out, and I was able to implement almost everything I wanted. Raft's most recent update was the renovation update, which came out last year, and it brought out countless pieces of new furniture and a new building material which gives your raft a bit of a luxurious feel instead of that primitive look that it had before. Not only that, but you can also paint your entire raft from an entire color wheel of options, as long as you have the dyes for it, of course. But there you have it. I wouldn't quite say Raft's building is as endless as Minecraft's, for example, but it's getting there, and the next update is going to bring us even more building features to widen our horizons. Next up though are the rare occurrences inside of Raft. These bring so much variety and a proper surprise element to exploration within the game, and it's actually one of my favorite features. There are loads of things which are harder to get than others, like the tiki heads for example, which have a really low drop rate from metal detecting. But that's not all. In Raft, there are actually 2 other different mechanics which include the rarity mechanic as well. Now for one of them, it's all about the islands that spawn around you. For each island that spawns, there is a 2% chance that either one of them is a rare island. There are 2 of these rare islands, both of which look completely different. One has a shipwreck on it, whereas the other features a broken plane. And if you're in my Discord, you'd know that I only recently found the second rare island, as it took me months and over 200 hours of playtime. Some people get really lucky and find these islands on their first ever day, which makes me pretty jealous, I won't lie. Now, many games have their limits. GTA, for example. You'll often find yourself finished with the game or limited with how you want to play, and that's when mods come into play. You can change game mechanics or even greatly alter visual effects within the game, and Raft is no different. In fact, there are heaps of mods for you to try out and experiment with in order to add that little bit of spice to your playthrough. Sometimes just one mod, for example, the garbage sucker, which sucks garbage out of the ocean even if it's not in its path, can really change up your experience and reignite your love for the game. And that's the main reason why I think Raft is so replayable. Not only can you play through the storyline multiple times, but you can also create new worlds with different mods than before and have a completely different type of experience. And while we're on the topic of mods, let's talk about the backbone of these, the community. The modding community of Raft is really unique in the fact that it's almost like a small organization of authorized users, including one developer of Raft who have launched their own site called raftmodding.com, where you can download the mod loader and all of the different mods on offer. It's a really well set up website and offers a very self-intuitive introduction to modding. And if you are interested in finding the information on this community or actually how to mod Raft, well, I'll leave all the links you'll need in the description of this video, so make sure to check them out if you're interested. So we've covered a lot so far, but what is one thing that often makes or breaks a game? No Man's Sky, for example. Well, that's the ability to actually play with your friends, whether that's on a locally hosted machine or a dedicated server. At the moment though, the only multiplayer option Raft offers is the locally hosted route, which does have its limits, but trust me, dedicated servers are coming, and I'm sure they're not too far away. But as for the question, can you play with friends? Yes, of course, and it's super easy to do. But still not sure Raft is for you? Well, let me tell you about the different ways you can play this game, because remember, the story is completely optional. While the game will guide you in that direction, you don't actually have to go there. You can simply spend your entire time fishing for catfish and then cooking them up and expanding your super quaint little raft and do nothing else. The possibilities are endless and the choice truly is yours. Want to make a little restaurant on the seas? Go for it. Make a kitchen, get some goats for milk, harvest coconuts, kill those seagulls and make some dishes. Now I know this sounds like an ad for Raft, but I can definitely say that it's not. This isn't sponsored and I just know firsthand how hard it truly is to get into a game without giving it a chance, or maybe just coming back to it without even having new content to enjoy, maybe just for the experience. You know, there are more things to do than just playing the storyline. I mean, what I've been doing for the past 4 months after finishing my Raft finally was achievement hunting, and I'm still not there. Raft has a substantial amount of achievements and I guarantee it will take you months to get all of them. Some are hidden, some are luck based, and others are just a plain grind, so good luck with that. But my last point in this video will be about you guys, the ones watching, or more so the ones watching who play Raft themselves. Yeah, I'm talking about the Raft community, the kindest, most helpful and most accepting community I think I've ever been a part of, and it shows through my own community as well, given most of you are avid Raft players. Trust me, if you need help, you can hop into either my Discord or the Raft Discord, and there will always be someone willing to give you a helping hand or a few tips to get you started. So even if you're impatient waiting for the update, you can wait alongside the rest of the community who are patiently anticipating this super exciting Chapter 3 update. Well, I call it Chapter 3, but I think it's going to be a lot more than just a storyline update. We'll have to wait and see though, but drop a comment telling me what you think the best thing about Raft is, and leave a like if you've enjoyed this video. Have a great day, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.
Fog on the pond and a whistle in the wind. There's a fog on the pond and a whistle